it's so funny because somebody said to me, I got to an argument with somebody earlier, they said that racism doesn't exist anymore. I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? But it's become so, I think the conditioning is so smooth that you don't realize that you're uncomfortable with things until you're faced to deal with it. Like the minute that a Walmart comes up in your neighborhood and black people and Hispanic people start moving in, or the minute that you're forced to look at an interracial couple, the things that you feel kind of go, hold up, I thought I was okay with this.
Well, I think, but you know, I would say that, you know, the racism is a word that, like, that I think from where I lived, you know, when it's apparent.
Where did you live?
It's real. Well, I lived in a town called Vallejo, California, which is very integrated, and then Memphis, Tennessee, which is very integrated.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
We're very much, I mean, if I go to a mall at the Beverly Center in Hollywood, you know, it's not like when I go to a mall in Memphis.
Right.
And I feel, to be honest with you, like, a lot of people are always questioning, like, you know, why I'm making movies with African Americans in it. And I'm always like, well, if I'm going to do a movie about blues and rap, and also do a movie in Memphis, then you know, I don't want to ignore the truth, which is we're all very much together in that city.
And we're more alike than we give each other credit.
But like you look at, like you brought up, like an interracial couple.
Right.
I think what happens is something a little different, and we don't like to talk about it. I think.
What happens?
Well, I think we see it and we immediately think, well, wow, what do they have to deal with? I mean, right? We think about that. We think, like, I mean, as a couple with everybody's, you know, own hang-ups, they must be really into each other. And there's something that we think, like, man, is that like love?
Right.
You know, we think that because there's
passion, like,
and I don't think it's necessarily people are thinking like, oh, that's wrong or anything like that, because we still, you know, we still have the echo from a time where it was taboo.
Right.
But man, you know, this younger generation, this is the iPod generation. You know, they don't have just one song in their iPod.
No,
you know, they got like 3,000.
Right.
So it's not so novel anymore. I think the thing that we got to realize, and what I feel, at least in Memphis, and especially with music, is there are differences. There's a difference in going into a white church and a black church.
And we should embrace that.
We should absolutely embrace it, and not necessarily. But there's been so much fear and so much caution.
Right.
That I think we've forgotten just to talk and just to kind of hang and chill. And I think that that's really why I don't move anywhere else. That's why I stay in Memphis. Because I feel that spirit.
Right. Definitely. One thing that I must say I was very impressed with Justin Timberlake. His performance was very, very good.
Justin's like, I mean...
Tell me more about the cast. What was it like working with everybody, working with the stars in the movie?
Well, Sam and Christina are both, I mean, Sam's done about like 60 movies, and Christina's been raised on camera.
Been in the game. I remember her from Casper, like when she was a kid.
Casper, and she was Wednesday Addams. And everything. But, you know, she's always had this great street cred because she does these big movies, but then she does these independents.
Right.
You know, like Buffalo 66 and Pumpkin. So for, you know, film nerds like me and everybody, we've already loved Christina Ricci. Like she's our girl, you know. And I think in this one, you know, especially up against Sam Jackson, she understands creating an icon. She understands like that, you know, that she's got to push it and goose it a little bit, because you know, that's why we should go to movies. You know, we go through a ride, and what I wanted to do with the movie is every once in a while you just get punched in the gut, but then sometimes you go, oh God, that's funny, and you laugh out loud, and it's like you looking around to your friends like, oh my God, did I just see that? And you're laughing with them, and it's like an experience like going to church. I mean, you know, there's times where you got to get serious when you're listening to it. There's times it's like stand up, we got to sing, look around to the people next to you, give them a handshake or a hug. And, you know, I don't like movies that just kind of come and go and don't stay in your head. Right.
Definitely. Do you think that, do you feel pressure, like, coming off of Hustle and Flow at all? Like, are people, like, looking at you like, oh, what is this next one going to be about? Is it going to be,
Absolutely. I think about that. I remember talking to John. It's like, how did you feel when Poetic Justice came out? After Boys in the Hood. You know, became this huge thing. So, yeah, there's pressure, but... really, like, the thing that I think about is that I'm trying to do something bigger here.
You have to stand behind your body of work.
Well, that's what changed. It's like I really went from a place of like, can I make a movie, to can I have a body of work?
Right.
And that's how you flip it.
Definitely. So I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions, a couple of random questions. So let's talk about hip hop let me ask you, what is your favorite? Who is your favorite blues singer? Or like, what is your favorite blues musician?
I'm gonna have to say Howlin' Wolf. I think there's something about Howlin' Wolf where he just had this. It sounded like a voice that's just filled with gravel. It shouldn't work. Right. It shouldn't be effective. He's got an awful voice, but it works with the blues.
Right.
And it just had this sexuality and this power to it. And you felt that if you were in his presence, you were overpowered by him,
Right.
And so I think that I mean, he's probably one of my favorite performers. But then I love Son House, who I opened the movie with. Son House he's just incredible.
Right.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite hip hop artist?
There's
one of them.
I gotta say, and it's not because he's in my movie. I think Ludacris is is going to be remembered. He's an entertainer.
Right.
But the great thing about being an entertainer is that you can slip in a little bit of the art.
Right.
I think
he does challenge people inadvertently, like his vocabulary.
It's crazy.
It's like you be in the club and somebody, like people are rapping, but they're saying like SAT vocabulary words. Or like with Kanye, like I don't care what you say, but he had people going in the club like, we want prenup. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like we want prenup.
There's lines I would talk to Chris about.
Right.
I'll give you an $80 gift certificate to Pussies R Us.
Right.
And it's like Shakespeare. It's like iambic pentameter.
Yes.
Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom.
Right.
When everybody dismisses rap, I always tell them, it's like, give it a try. Go ahead, give me 4 lines, and they try it. And they realize it's like, man, it's nothing compared to like what rappers do. I mean, They truly are. People always laugh when they're called poets, but it's like, I think they're folk singers. They're truly taking their life and they're taking their experiences, and it dances between reality and fantasy.
That's what I was gonna say, because it's nothing but time evolves, and with that, things submerge and grow. The blues and hip hop are the same. Gospel and the blues are the same. You know what I'm saying? It all comes from the same pain. It all comes from the same universal truth. It all comes from love and lack of it.
And it also comes from fantasy.
Exactly.
I mean, I think when rappers are rapping about having 5 Bentleys in the garage, it's part of that fantasy.
Right. So okay, if Howlin' Wolf and Ludacris made a song together,
well, here's the great thing.
What would it be called?
Is that they can. I mean, if you think
they
about
need
it.
To.
No,
right.
You gotta. Ludacris should sample Smokestack Lightning. It's got one of the best.
Lightning.
Yeah, it's got one of the best little guitar riffs in it.
Okay.
And I bet if he took that with that type of sound they had,
right,
it would be killer.
All right, cool. Well, I think Wendy's about ready for us.
You got some questions you want to ask?
I'm an actor, right? I'm an actor.
I kind of felt it.
So,
I hear it. You want to turn this over and? Did you have any more questions, or?